I want to talk about factoring a difference of squares. And this one's going to be a little bit more involved than your usual factoring of a difference of two squares. So I'll write over here just the general formula that we use to factor a difference of two squares. A squared minus b squared is equal to a minus b times a plus b. Okay, so here would be an easy example, right? This would be like an easy example. So what about y squared minus 9? So y squared minus 9 is a difference, okay, because it has subtraction of two squares. And that's because the y is squared and 9 is 3 squared. So I can rewrite this as y squared minus 3 squared. Okay, and now you can see how this looks against the formula. We have a squared minus b squared. And so you can think of the y in y squared, the y is the a, and the 3 is the b. So then you can just substitute those into the formula and just say, okay, well, that's going to be y minus 3, y plus 3. Okay, and so we're done with that one. That's a simple example. This one is a little bit harder, so I'm going to write this down, harder. Okay, this is x to the fourth minus 16 y to the fourth. Okay, so when you look at this, you're probably not going to think difference of two squares, but really this can be written as a difference of two squares. So you have to think out of the box a little bit. So how would we get x to the fourth as something squared? Well, it would be this. It would be x squared squared. So now we can see that we have one square, and that's going to be the x squared that's being squared. And then here we have 16y to the fourth. Well, I'm just going to write that as 4y squared squared. Okay? And all of that checks out because 4 squared is 16 and y squared squared is y to the fourth. Okay? So now we can see, if we go back to the formula over here, you can see that you want to try to find out what the a and the b are. Well, here the a is the x squared. I'll make a note of that. A is x squared, and b is 4y squared. So now I'm going to factor this. Okay, so I'm going to use this part of the formula. So that's going to factor a, which is x squared, minus b, which is 4y squared, times a plus b. Okay, so we factored this as a difference of two squares. And that's a really good first step, but we have to also look again to see if we can factor some more. And it turns out that we can. Because right here on the left side, we have x squared minus 4y squared. So that would mean that a is equal to x. I'm referring to a in the formula over here. Okay? A is x, and b is actually going to be 2y. And that's how we're going to factor this term right here, or this expression right here. This one we can't do anything with because a sum of two squares never factors. So we're just going to leave that in our answer. But this one we can factor as x minus 2y times x plus 2y times what we couldn't factor, the sum of two squares. That's x squared plus 4y squared. So we're done. Now it's completely factored. We use the difference of squares 2 times.